Joining me now is Nebal Farsakh, the spokesperson for the Palestinian Red Crescent Society, and she is in Ramallah in the West Bank. Nebal, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
What is the latest on the humanitarian situation on the ground in Gaza?
So since restarting the escalation, restarting the airstrikes, our teams, the Palestinian Red Crescent, are now responding on the ground for new injuries and new fatalities as well. This came in time where our teams are lacking medical supplies and medicine, since the number of humanitarian aid that has been allowed to get in is not enough to support the work of the healthcare system, who is catastrophically affected by this escalation. During the past week, we were able to receive around 1,100 aid trucks that is loaded with food, water, relief items, along with some medical supplies and medicine. Unfortunately, the number of fuel trucks that was allowed to get in, it's not enough to support the work of generators in hospitals as well as the ambulances. And also we were unable to deliver any fuel to support our EMS center in Jabalia, our emergency medical services teams in Jabalia, who are now at the risk of fuel depletion. We have around 5 ambulances that are operating, and they are in urgent need for fuel so they can continue providing their life-saving services.
Now, you mentioned fuel for the hospitals. Are any of the hospitals up and running again?
Yes, now there's basically the number of hospitals that have went out of service is around 20 hospitals. Most of them are at the area of north of Gaza and Gaza City. The rest hospitals who are operating in south of Gaza Strip. There's just a couple of ones that are working on north of Gaza partially. But all hospitals in Gaza City and the north have almost went out of service. And even the hospital we run, which is Al-Quds Hospital for the Palestinian Red Crescent, we forced to evacuate the hospital 3 weeks ago. And unfortunately, just yesterday, we were shocked to see some footage for Al-Quds Hospital, which has been completely damaged from inside the hospital. Nothing left inside the hospital. Although when a time we evacuated the hospital, the building has many damages, but it was still operational. So now, even when later the Palestinian Red Crescent will be able to come back again to Gaza City, we will need a time until we can reoperate the hospital again.
And let's add, along with the medical crisis, the World Food Program is warning that the population remains at risk of famine and starvation. How much food is needed? We heard from a Canadian musician, Canadian star, The Weeknd. He said he's going to donate $2.5 million to help with that. But how much food is needed, and how do you get it to them?
So before the escalation, Gaza needed around 500 trucks daily. Since the beginning of the escalation, we barely can have 45 trucks, and daily, and only at the days of truce for a week, we received around 200 trucks. This is not enough. Can't even scratch the needs of over 2 million civilians who are lacking food, water, and medicine. People in Gaza now are struggling to find food for their families. Many, if they were lucky enough, they even only can have a 1 meal per day. Whether you live in Gaza City or even in the north or south of Gaza, it is a major challenge for families and for parents to find food for their children and for their families. Basically, all the internal market is now almost empty. You can go to any grocery stores, and the only thing you're gonna find is just empty shelves. We have inside our hospital, Al-Amal Hospital, we have another hospital called Al-Amal Hospital in Khan Yunis in south of Gaza. We have in our hospital, along with our HQ in Khan Yunis, around 13,000 civilians who are taking shelter inside the hospital. Those people, elderly people women and children are lacking food, lacking water, lacking everything. Even they are lacking enough blankets as well as mattresses. Many they are sleeping on the ground without being able to have very basic humanitarian need. This comes with the cold weather in Gaza. And as I mentioned, many people, when they have left their homes, they left with nothing, with only the clothes they were. That's why the situation has just have become more than dire, with all those people are backing together, overcrowded. So we start getting more people are getting more infectious diseases. And now the thousands of people in Gaza are at risk not only to lose their life because of the bombardments, but because of hunger and because of infectious diseases as well.
Nebal Farsakh, spokesperson from the Palestinian Red Crescent Society, thank you for that difficult update for us. We appreciate it.